Simonelli for the evening, and I suspect there are a number of people here who have. I'm very pleased to be able to advise you that we'll be turning the Benugo Bar into a musicals piano bar for 4 evenings across the project, so you too can be Liza. The BFI National Archive looks after one of the world's greatest and largest collections of film prints. In an age where almost everything is shown digitally, we at the BFI still aim to show films on real film whenever we can. You've just watched that extract from Cabaret on 35mm film. And in the season, we're also showing a number of other films on film, including Hello Dolly on spectacular 70mm. Kiss Me Kate was shot in 3D, and we're lucky enough to have a very rare 3D print of it in the BFI collection. In fact, it's not just one 35mm print, but 2. One for the left eye, one for the right eye. And they get projected simultaneously onto a genuine silver screen. So get ready for Ann Miller to feel as if she's dancing on your lap. Also look out for the 5 films from the 40s and 50s that will be projecting from almost perfect vintage 35mm Technicolor dye transfer prints from the archive. So you can get to see Lena Horne, Gene Kelly, Lucille Ball, Doris Day, Fred Astaire, and Debbie Reynolds in Broadway Rhythm, Do Barry Was a Lady, It's Magic, The Belle of New York, and I Love Melvin, all in real, glorious, original Technicolor. I can assure you, if you've not seen them projected before, the effect is really very, very special. Right, it's almost time for another Bob Fosse number, and I'm delighted we have a special guest to introduce it. He's had an extraordinary career as a performer of musicals in the West End, including the National Theatre's legendary production of Guys and Dolls, and for me, he's the world's greatest ever Sky Masterson. He wrote the Olivier Award-winning Five Guys Named Moe, and TV viewers will probably know him as Lester Freeman in The Wire, which is clearly not a musical, but I'm sure would have been better if it had been. So please really welcome Clarke Peters.
Hi, how are you?
Clarke, thank you so much for joining us. I was just wondering if you could start off by telling us, given you have had a long career in musicals, what was it that drew you to the musical form, and where did you actually get started?
I think it was lazy Saturday mornings. On television in America, they were always musicals. Although I wasn't around in the 40s and 30s when some of these great musicals were, they still had an impact on our imaginations, you know, and Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney going, I've got a barn, I've got some clothes, let's put on a show, you know? And they're in a living room, and the living room turns into 50 acres of land, you know, and 1,000 people show up. And then you had moments like Stormy Weather, you know, where you get to see your people, my people, on television, you know, for the first time, and doing spectacular things like the Nicholas Brothers, you know. So, you know, as a child, you're growing up and you're seeing these in that American context, and you want to escape, you know, and musicals was the way to escape, as you so aptly put it, for this time. Yes, it's the best place to be.
And where did you actually start? What was your first musical, do you know?
My very first musical, I was about 13 years old. It was a PTA production, and it was My Fair Lady. It was directed by John Travolta's mother. His sister played Eliza Doolittle, and I was a street urchin. You know what I mean, love? And I was, and I loved it. I loved it. Then my first professional job was in the musical Hair, and like most theater, it had a social commentary that I needed to be a part of for its time. You know, needless to say, I enjoyed just taking off my clothes at the end of that festival underneath that big umbrella. Yeah, that was but that's what got me started, and that was in Paris, and from Paris I went to Denmark, and we toured all around England, I mean all around Europe. And then I came to England, and my first musical here was Guys and Dolls with the Watford Rep, you know, back in 1970 something or other. And that led to where I am now.
Right.
You know, so my first 25 years in England were on stage doing musicals. you know, and I love it. You know, there's nothing like a musical.
Well, hopefully we're going to about to see another one. We've got an extract from Sweet Charity.
Yes,
I was just
do.
wondering if you could tell us something about why you like this musical, and particularly this number.
Well, it's more this number. Are you familiar with the story of Sweet Charity? Yeah. Good, okay. We don't have to go there, but you're
Among friends.
among friends. But it's Sammy Davis Jr. You know, one of the for this generation, one of the unspoken heroes. You know, underrated in so many ways, and the man was just so wonderfully talented. And I like this because of Sammy. Yeah, this particular number. And again, watching Sammy as a child, you know, me as a child, not him as a child. You know, watching him just perform. It's just, if you wanted to dance, if you wanted to sing, you know, for my community, it was Sammy Davis Jr. You know, and he was a man who worked his way across all barriers, you know, and for him to have been in this as well was again, you know, a groundbreaking political statement, you know. So I don't know what else to say except to say, you know, let's enjoy, you know, Mr. Sammy Davis Jr. and what do you say, roll the film or something like that?
I think roll the film. Thank you very much.